Jodō is the art of mastering the mind. An increasing number of people are learning Jodō to strengthen both body and soul. This video was produced in accordance with the All Japan Kendo Federation's Jodō Handbook to assist in the study of Jodō. Let's look at the 12 basic forms, the kata. Ipponme, tsukizue. Evade an attack to the center of your head and strike your opponent's left kote or forearm. As he retreats to hold the tachi in the Jodan position, take advantage of his lapse of attention to follow with a Honte-uchi to his forearm. Nihonme, suigetsu. Avoid an attack to the center of your head and thrust at your opponent's solar plexus, follow with a Hikiotoshi to strike down his tachi. Sanbonme, hissage. Move back to evade an attack to the center of your head and immediately follow with a thrust to your opponent's solar plexus and a Hikiotoshi strike to his face. Yonhonme, Shamen. Evade an attack to the center of your head and strike your opponent's temple with a Honte-uchi followed by a Kae-shizuki. Gohonme, sakan. Using the jaw, deflect your opponent's thrust to your solar plexus. Immediately follow by striking down the tachi and perform Hikiotoshi-uchi. Ropponme, monomi. Evade an attack to the center of your head and strike your opponent's forearm using Honte-uchi. Take advantage of his break in concentration to attack with Kae-shizuki. Nanahonme, Kasumi. Meet an attack to the center of your head with a tai atari followed by kuritsuke. As your opponent draws back, take advantage of his break in concentration to thrust at his solar plexus and perform Hikiotoshi. Hachihonme, tachi otoshi. Your opponent is holding the tachi in Chudan. When you sense a break in his concentration, move your body to one side and strike at his head. As he retreats, execute kaeshizuki and follow with hikiotoshi. Honme, Rai-uchi. As soon as your opponent attempts a cut to your upper arm, thrust at him in the solar plexus using gyakutezuki. Then move to the left and thrust at him in the side. Honme, Seigan. Take the initiative by thrusting at your opponent's solar plexus. Then as he retreats, thrust at him in the side and follow with another hit to his solar plexus. Honme, Midare dome. Use gyakute-uchi to strike at the tachi held in Chudan-no-kamae. Deflect the following attack using maki-otoshi. Perform tai atari and follow with hiki-otoshi. Honme, Ran-ai. This incorporates many of the techniques used in the previous kata. There are two types of bow, the zare and the ritsure. Kneel in place, first your left knee, then your right. Place the jaw on the floor to your right, about a fist's breadth away, making sure that the center of the jaw is in line with the center of the body. Place your hands on the floor in front of you, starting with your left hand, and bow to perform the zare. The tachi is placed on the floor so that the tsuba is in line with the right knee and the blade facing the right leg. The ritsure is performed before and after the embu or practice, assuming correct posture with the front end of the jaw pointing down. Bow to the place of honor at an angle of about 30 degrees. When bowing to one another, the angle should be about 15 degrees. There are two ways of standing holding the jaw. For ritsujo, hold the jaw lightly in the center with your left hand and press your wrist against your body slightly below the hip bone. For sagejo, hold the jaw in the right hand with its front end pointing down and press the back end of the jaw against the back of your right shoulder. Let's look at the basic kamae or postures. This is the Tsune-no-kamae. Stand in shizentai or natural standing posture and hold the center of the jaw with your right hand so that the point of the jaw is level with your navel and pointing slightly inwards. This is the Honte-no-kamae. From Tsune-no-kamae, bring your right hand and leg forward. Slide your right hand towards you to a point a quarter of the way from the rear end of the jaw. The front end of the jaw is at your opponent's eye level. When the Morote command is given, return to your original position. And now the Gyakute-no-kamae or reverse grip. In Migi Gyakute-no-kamae, hold the jaw lightly with your right hand using a reverse grip, making sure not to bend the wrist. Slide your right hand down to 1/4 of the way from the rear end of the jaw. When the Morote command is given, grip the jaw again in Migi Honte and return to Tsune-no-kamae. This is the Hikiotoshi-no-kamae. Notice how the left and right hands hold the jaw. The base of the left thumb is pressed lightly against the left of the chest, with the body turned halfway to the left. Let's look at the basic kamae or positions for holding the tachi and how to stand at ease. This is the Chudan position. Step slightly forward with your right foot, your left fist lowered in front of your navel, about a fist's breadth away from your body. The kensen or tip of the tachi should be level with your throat, pointing between your opponent's eyes. Morote Hidari Jodan. The kensen is slightly right of the center line of your body. Morote Migi Jodan. Raise the tachi from Chudan, making sure that the kensen remains aligned with the center of your body. Gedan-no-kamae. From Chudan, lower the kensen to a point 4 or 5 centimeters away from your opponent's right knee. This is the hasso position. Hold the tachi at an angle of about 45 degrees with the edge of the blade turned towards your opponent. The tsuba should be level with your mouth and about a fist's breadth away. The waki-gamae position. From Chudan, draw your right foot back and lower the tachi to your right, turning halfway to the left. Make sure the tachi cannot be seen by your opponent. The kensen should be slightly lower than in gedan. How to stand at ease. Lower the kensen to about the same level as gedan, slightly away from your body so that it's pointing diagonally towards your opponent's left. There are 12 basic techniques in Jodō kata. Let's begin by practicing them alone. The Honte-uchi is used to strike the opponent's face alternately from both sides. When pulling the jaw back, release the thumb of your right hand and turn it out. Nihonme, Gyakute-uchi. Strike your opponent's face alternately from both sides as in Honte-uchi. Do not change the grip when pulling the jaw back. Sanbonme, Hikiotoshi-uchi. This technique is used to attack an opponent who's holding a tachi in Chudan. Strike his sword consecutively from the left and right. Point the jaw at your opponent's face to indicate zanshin. 4本目返し突き. This is used mainly to thrust at your opponent's solar plexus. Twist your hips to the left and right and thrust using the front and rear ends of the jaw alternately. When turning the jaw, your front hand should be level with your opponent's solar plexus. There are two ways of holding the jaw with your back hand. 5本目逆手突き. Hold the jaw in a reverse grip and thrust at your opponent's solar plexus, following with a Honte-uchi strike to his face. Make sure to keep the jaw in line with the center of your body. When making the thrust, your feet should be like this. It's important to make sure that both arms are fully extended. "6本目巻き落とし. Your opponent attempts to strike the center of your head. Block his tachi and sweep it aside in a circular movement and finish by attacking his face. When blocking his tachi, your left fist should be level with your left shoulder and your right fist diagonally above your left shoulder level with your left eye. Sweep the tachi aside and advance on the right foot to attack your opponent's face. "7本目くりつけ. Evade an attack to the center of your head and with an upward sweep using the front end of the jaw, catch the handle of your opponent's tachi and push his hands and tachi down towards his stomach. When performing kuritsuke, the left hand should be placed in front of the left of the groin and your right wrist bent slightly outwards. Make sure not to lean forward. 8本目繰り離し. Evade an attack to the center of your head and with an upward sweep using the front end of the jaw, catch the handle of your opponent's tachi and push the tachi up over his head and away to the rear. "9本目体当たり. Evade your opponent's attack and with an upward sweep using the front end of the jaw, catch the handle of his tachi and push him back. With both arms extended, take another step forward and push him back. Your left fist should be in front of your opponent's solar plexus, your right fist in front of his face, and the jaw raised vertically. 10本目突き外し打ち. This technique is used when an opponent attacks with a thrust to the body. Draw back to receive the thrust with your jaw and immediately strike down the tachi. Step back, first your left foot then your right, and turn your body halfway to the left. When striking the tachi down, your left hand should be in front of the right hand side of your chest and your right hand diagonally above your right shoulder. Notice how the feet are turned towards the front when striking the tachi down. "11本目胴払い打ち. Your opponent attempts to strike your torso. Step back and receive his tachi with your jaw and strike it down. When receiving the tachi, both arms should be extended with the hands about a shoulder's width apart. Notice how the feet are turned when striking down the tachi. Twist your hips inwards when striking down the tachi. "12本目体外し打ち. Evade your opponent's attack to the center of your head by stepping back and strike his tachi down to the right. Raise your left hand above your head and extend your right arm straight down to hold the jaw vertically against your right side. Draw your left foot back and with a large movement, bring the jaw around over your head to strike. And now let's practice the basic forms with an opponent. Honte-uchi. Strike the uchi's face from both sides. The uchi is the one holding the tachi or sword. When the shi, the one with the jaw, strikes, the uchi steps back starting with his left foot to maintain his distance with the shi. On the command yame or stop, the uchi steps back and raises the tachi to meet the jaw. 2本目 逆手打ち. Strike the uchi's temple from the left and right as in Honte-uchi. The uchi steps back with his right foot when the strike comes from the right, and with his left when the strike comes from the left. He holds his tachi up to receive the jaw. 3本目 Hikiotoshi-uchi. The uchi is holding the tachi in the Chudan position. Strike down the tachi from the left and right. The shi takes one step forward to strike down the tachi and points the jaw at the tachi's face to indicate zanshin. 4本目 kaeshi-zuki. This is used mainly to thrust at the solar plexus. Twist your hips round and thrust using the front and rear ends of the jaw alternately. When turning the jaw, your front hand should be level with your opponent's solar plexus. Gohonme, gyakute-zuki. Hold the jaw using a reverse grip and thrust at your opponent's solar plexus. Follow with the right Honte-uchi strike to his face. Make sure to follow the thrust immediately with the strike. The uchi holds his tachi in the Hidari Jodan position. On receiving the thrust, he takes a big step back, first with his left then right, and raises his tachi to meet the jaw. 6本目 Maki-otoshi. As soon as you block your opponent's tachi, sweep it aside with a circular motion and attack his face. Once the tachi has been swept aside, the uchi steps back with his right foot to maintain his distance from the shi. Nana honme kuritsuke. Evade the uchi's attack and with an upward sweep using the front end of the jaw, catch the handle of the tachi and push the uchi's hands and tachi down towards his stomach. The uchi receives the jaw in the center of his body. Watch the shi's action as he enters into kuritsuke. Hachihonme kurihanashi. Evade the uchi's attack by moving to the left and with an upward sweep using the front end of the jaw, catch the handle of the tachi and push the tachi up over the uchi's head and away to the rear. After performing kurihanashi, the shi changes the right hand to a honte grip, takes a half step to the right, and brings his feet together to take the Honte-no-kamae. Notice the position of the shi's body after performing the kurihanashi. 9本目 tai atari. Evade the uchi's attack by moving to the left. Catch the handle of the tachi with an upward sweep using the front end of the jaw and push the uchi back. Once his tachi is swept up, the uchi draws his right foot back towards his left. When he's pushed back, he takes 4 small steps to the rear, starting with his left foot, and assumes the Honte-no-kamae. Juppon-me, tsuki-hazushi-uchi. Draw back and receive the uchi's thrust with the jaw, and immediately strike down the tachi. The uchi attempts another thrust in the solar plexus from the Chudan position. The shi turns his body halfway to the left and deflects the thrust to his solar plexus by sweeping the tachi upwards. Immediately after striking down the tachi, the shi uses the front end of the jaw to attack the uchi's face. Juippon-me, doubarai uchi. The uchi attempts to strike your torso. Take 1 step back, receive his tachi with your jaw, and strike it down. Notice how the shi receives the tachi. Both arms are extended and the hands are about a shoulder's width apart. The front end of the jaw points diagonally down. The uchi takes 1 step back with his right foot, then the left, and raises his tachi to Chudan to meet the jaw. Junihon-me, tai-hazushi-uchi. The shi steps back to avoid the uchi's attack and strikes the tachi down to the right. When striking the tachi down, the shi steps back with the left foot, then right, to deal a powerful blow. The uchi lowers his tachi and the shi assumes the Honte-no-kamae. They walk towards each other to exchange weapons. After receiving the tachi, the former shi steps aside to the left and walks to the starting position. The new shi takes the Honte-no-kamae and walks straight forward. And now let's look at the main points of the 12 kata, the basic Jodō forms. Ippon-me, tsukizue. Evade the uchi's attack to the center of your head and strike his left forearm. As he retreats to take Jodan-no-kamae, take advantage of his lapse of attention to follow with a Honte-uchi to his forearm. Notice the position of the shi's body. The right hand is level with the right hip, while the left hand grips the jaw at a point 1/4 length from the tip. The right knee is straightened and the left knee slightly bent. The front end of the jaw is placed on the floor. And now watch how the shi strikes the uchi's forearm. He swings the front end of the jaw down from the right in a large circular path to strike the uchi's left forearm. Let's take another look at the position of the shi's body and how he strikes the uchi's forearm. Nihon-me, suigetsu. Meet the uchi's attack to the center of your head by moving diagonally to the right to thrust at his solar plexus. Follow with a Hikiotoshi to strike down his tachi. When thrusting the jaw into the uchi's solar plexus, turn your body slightly to the left and place your left hand lightly on your hip. Thrust at the solar plexus accurately. Let's take another look at 2本目水月. Three 本目引っ下げ. Move back to evade the uchi's attack to the center of your head and immediately follow with a kuritsuke technique, a thrust to the uchi's solar plexus, and a hikiotoshi strike to his face. The shi takes the correct left hikiotoshi stance, from which he performs the kuritsuke technique to evade the uchi's attack. The shi's elbows are slightly bent as he holds the jaw above his head. Let's take another look at the main points of 3本目引っ下げ. Make sure to perform the kuritsuke, the thrust to the solar plexus, and the hikiotoshi in one continuous action. Four 本目 Shamen. Evade an attack to the center of your head and strike the uchi's temple with a Honte-uchi followed by a kaeshizuki. The shi holds the front end of the jaw in a reverse grip. Moving forward, he slides his right hand to a point 1/4 length from the tip of the jaw and strikes the uchi's left temple. Observe the movement of the feet. When striking the uchi's temple, both elbows should be extended, with the right hand holding the jaw at a point 1/4 length from the tip. Let's take another look at 4本目 Shamen. Five 本目 Sakan. Move back and deflect the uchi's thrust to your solar plexus. Immediately follow by striking down the tachi and perform Hikiotoshi-uchi. The shi turns his body halfway to the side and raises the jaw in an upward sweep. Notice the position of the fists as he turns. Strike the uchi as soon as he takes up a stance. Let's review that action. Six 本目 Monomi. Evade the uchi's attack to the center of your head and strike the uchi's right forearm using left Honte-uchi. Take advantage of his break in concentration to attack with kaeshizuki. The shi begins to move as soon as he senses the uchi's attack. Pay close attention to his timing and body movement. Let's review this action. After thrusting the uchi's solar plexus, the shi indicates zanshin. Seven 本目 Kasumi. Meet an attack to the center of your head with a tai atari, followed by kuritsuke. As the uchi draws back, take advantage of his break in concentration to thrust his solar plexus and perform hikiotoshi. This is the Kasumi posture. Make sure that the back of your right hand lightly touches your forehead. This is the correct posture upon completing Honte-uchi. Let's take another look at 7 honme Kasumi. Take special notice of the way the shi enters into kuritsuke. Eight honme Hikiotoshi. The uchi is holding the tachi in Chudan. When you sense a break in his concentration, move your body to one side and strike at his head. Immediately follow with kuritsuke. As he retreats, execute kaeshizuki and follow with hikiotoshi. The uchi blocks the shi's Honte-uchi by stepping to the left and raises his tachi above his head to receive the jaw. He receives the jaw at the center of the tachi. As the uchi sweeps the tachi around his head to cut to the side of the shi's neck, the shi begins kuritsuke. The front end of the jaw is aimed at the uchi's eyes. Keeping in mind the main points, let's take another look at tachi otoshi. Nine honme rai uchi. As soon as the uchi attempts a cut to your upper arm, thrust him in the solar plexus using gyakutezuki. Then move to the left and thrust into his side. The main point is to thrust at the uchi before he attacks. The thrusts are made to the solar plexus and side. Let's review the technique. Honme seigan. As the uchi approaches, forestall his threat by thrusting at his solar plexus. Then as he retreats, thrust at his side and follow with a hip to his solar plexus. Watch how the shi seizes the initiative. The moment the uchi places his hand on the tsuka, the shi threatens the uchi's face and strikes him in the solar plexus and forearm. He then thrusts at the uchi's left side with a gyakutezuki. Let's take another look at seigan. Honme midare dome. Use gyakute-uchi to strike at the tachi held in Seigan-no-kamae. As the uchi brings the tachi over his head and cuts at the center of your head, throw the tachi down using maki-otoshi. Perform tai-atari and follow with hikiotoshi. Let's take a close look at the main points of midare dome. Strike the uchi in the face with an accurate gyakute-uchi. The shi strikes the tachi down and to the side. He then threatens the tachi's face. Let's review 11本目乱れ止め. Juni honme ranai. This incorporates many of the techniques used in the previous kata. Let's look at how the shi performs kuritsuke. Both arms are extended and the hips are lowered slightly. The uchi's tachi is manipulated and pressed down towards the center of his body. Notice how the shi avoids the tachi. His body is turned halfway to the side, feet are together, arms straight, and the point of the jaw is aimed at the uchi's eyes. Let's take a look at Ranai from a different angle. Let's look again at the shi's correct backward movement and kuritsuke against the uchi's attack. We've looked at the major points of the 12 basic forms, how to take the correct distance, and the time interval between the techniques. Please try to master these points through repeated practice. To learn Jodō, one has to master the fundamental techniques and polish them through daily training. As is understood by the phrase Kikken Tai Ichi, we want to practice Jodō with serious intent.